Hello, welcome to Moist Nougat. I am the kid.
And I'm Dana Lee.
That's right, Dana Lee's joining for this episode. I wanted to say happy belated birthday to Olivia because her birthday was, Christ, almost 2 weeks ago, I guess now. I actually recorded an episode and wished her happy birthday. And I didn't post that episode because when I listened back to it, I was like, man, I was just all over the place and
Oh yeah,
wasn't feeling what I was,
yeah.
underprepared as usual.
that's what happens sometimes.
Yeah, so I wanted to throw that out there, anyways, just in case she
Yeah,
listens to
def-
it. I don't know if she listens to them anymore or not, but
definitely happy belated birthday
yeah,
wishes from
21.
me too. Yeah,
21.
definitely. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That
I
is
heard all
awesome.
she's been doing is hanging out at bars ever since she turned 21.
Oh, I can imagine. I mean, that's how, it's like I gotta try doing this legal, see what it's like.
Yeah, it's not all it's cracked up to be.
No, not usually.
I remember my 21st birthday, I ended up getting sick. I ended up being the designated driver that night.
Oh gosh.
And everybody's like, oh, it was because you were nervous because you were out at the bar. I was like, no, I've been going to the bar since I was 16. Why would I be nervous about going to the Sitting Bull?
Yeah, right, right.
I think it was
Yeah.
the beer and the piece of chocolate cake I had before we left
Oh yeah.
didn't hit my stomach very well.
Right, right.
But yeah,
Yeah,
so it was an uneventful 21st
right,
birthday.
right. Yeah, they usually are. That's kind of the way it is. It's just I don't even remember what I did.
I think we all went. I think you and Mom were there, and Carrie and
Hmm.
I can't remember, but I know we went to the Sitting Bull first. I don't know where we went after that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we at least hit a couple places and then but yeah, 'cause certainly enough places in that town to hop around.
Yeah, yeah. But like I said, it is what it is. Of course,
Yeah.
I don't think Olivia's a big drinker, anyways. I know she'll have a seltzer or something once in a while, but
Uh-huh.
I don't think
Yeah.
she's going to be hanging
Right.
out at the bars a whole lot.
Yeah. It's interesting, after all these years of, you know, of me having, you know, the ability to be in bars, even, playing in bars. It seems like there was a long stretch. That's how I made my money at bars. But the only takeaway from alcohol is for me is Kahlua. I got one thing that I actually enjoy, and that's just sipping on Kahlua.
Yeah, you drink too much of that, you'll get sick. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's one you just have to. I guess I got the same kind of brain that my grandmother had. She would just sip little cordials,
Yeah,
anisette or whatever else that she liked. But yeah, that's how I've got to be now.
yeah. I've always liked my beer, but I haven't had a beer in 2 weeks, over 2 weeks now,
Yeah, yeah.
because of all the damn pills I'm taking.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well,
Yeah, that damn tooth problem. I won't get into details about it, but
man,
well, not any gory detail. I mean, there's really nothing gory about it right now. But
yeah.
Kyle thinks everything's gory because basically what happened to the tooth. It's not even a cavity. It's a tooth that I had a crown on it years ago,
Oh, okay.
and basically the tooth underneath the crown has basically exploded. Like the
Mm-hmm.
roots have broken off, so it's the tooth has got to come out. Which why they didn't just take it out then is beyond me. But
Yeah.
put me
Right.
on antibiotics, and
Uh-huh.
but once the
Yeah.
antibiotics kicked in, the pain went away. But man, last weekend I was hurting. It was just throbbing, you know.
Yeah, that
taking
sucks.
the max amount of Advil and shit. And then I found out you can take a mixture of Advil and Tylenol
No kidding.
together, and it actually works as well as Vicodin, supposedly.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't, I've never had Vicodin, but apparently people like Vicodin because it gets you kind of high.
Oh, I wouldn't know.
Well, it's a
I've never.
painkiller, so
Yeah, I've never had it.
yeah, I have never had it either. But yeah, so once the antibiotics kicked in, the pain pretty much went away. But the hardest thing is just not being able to eat.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
really. It's not
um,
a way you want to lose weight. That's certainly not the approach you
well,
want to
no,
take.
and even when the pain went away, it's like I just don't dare stir the pot because what if I chew and it shifts something and the pain comes back
Right.
and so it's been like soup and mashed potatoes and
Oh gosh, oatmeal.
pasta type. Actually went to the grocery store yesterday. I did buy something I haven't had in forever, hamburger helper.
Oh yeah.
Just the
Okay.
regular old fashioned beef hamburger helper.
Right, right.
And I just chopped up the burger real small so there wasn't like I didn't have to chew a lot.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, it wasn't bad.
Well,
And
that's
yeah, I
good.
bought oatmeal and I bought some more
Yeah.
soup and
All the soft stuff. Yeah.
yeah, because the damn tooth comes out Wednesday, so I won't be able to eat for a few days after that. And then I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
getting a implant type thing put in or what the plan is after that.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure it's going to require another visit to the
Yeah.
dentist to have him do the whole full checkup and let me know all the issues that I might have.
Yeah.
And then, but it's like, yeah, I told my wife, I said, this is going to have to get fixed sooner than later because I can't not, be able to eat.
Yeah. Sure.
Um, Not for
So
like
once
a
that,
year.
yeah, I gotcha. So once that comes out, what I wonder how much time you have to give it before he'll bring you back in, maybe a couple weeks or a month or.
I don't know. They're doing a procedure because there was actually an abscess because of that.
Oh,
And
okay.
I hope anybody that listens to this isn't like super squeamish. Like I said, it's not really gory or anything, but just
Yeah.
you talk about the dentist and it kind of makes me sick to my stomach.
Hmm.
But because the abscess and the way it's, the bone won't heal back properly to put like an implant in there. So he's
Oh,
doing this procedure where he puts in, I think it's some sort of bone graft thing. I have no idea what this is going to entail. I know that it costs a lot of money.
yeah.
Uh,
Huh. Okay.
the whole one tooth, $1,600 fucking dollars. That's just so far. That's not getting an implant or anything.
Right. Right.
Uh,
Wow.
but
Well,
it's got to come
that,
out because the infection would have got worse and worse and worse, and then you can get real sick from that.
oh yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, however they do this bone graft type thing, he made it sound like
Mhm.
they put shit in there. It's almost like filling a pothole or something.
Okay.
And
Right. Right.
but I don't know why it's so freaking expensive. But I guess they consider it oral surgery. So
Yeah. Yeah. Once you're, yeah, definitely. Once the knife starts working, then sure.
I told him, I said, well, this is why people like me are in this boat.
Hmm.
One goddamn tooth, and it's $1,600 to start with, and
Right.
that's not even like getting something to replace it.
Yeah.
Well, people can't afford it. This is why they go when they have an emergency because they just can't afford it. Even when I had dental insurance, because I have no dental insurance at all.
Right.
But even when I did, you'd go, let's say you needed because I've had problems with my teeth my whole life, basically. So I've had my
Uh-huh.
share of root canals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And even with insurance, you go get a root canal, and by the time the root canal is done, you don't even have enough money to, pay for a crown to be put on it. I've got
Yeah.
a tooth that didn't ever got a crown on it because, they wanted like $2,000 for the damn crown. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't have the money.
That's right. That's right.
And
It's unfortunate.
fortunately, they didn't throw the. Well, you got to take care. You got to have this stuff done. Yeah, but I got to have a roof over my head, and I got to have food, and I got to have.
Gotta have transportation, and
Yeah,
you
I
gotta.
mean,
I gotta live a normal life.
this is just one of the things on the list, and like I said, it doesn't become a priority until you're in major pain,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah,
And but I
absolutely.
don't think this is anything that I could have prevented. I think it's just happened, and
Yeah.
once that root broke off, it was just like, yeah, this tooth is done. It gave
Mhm.
up. I wish we were like sharks. You lose a tooth and then
Oh
a new one
yeah,
grows in.
yeah, really.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, they've got teeth to spare. That's for sure.
Yeah,
How many rows do they have?
yeah.
My
But when
God.
when one falls out, another one grows back.
Yeah, that's a nice chromosome to have in your body, or what, whatever the correct thing is that gets that duplicate going.
Yeah. So we've all been up here. It's like this week. Dar goes in tomorrow morning for her hip replacement,
Wow, that's big.
and they're telling her this is an outpatient thing.
Oh my God.
And she had her other hip replaced a few years back, and basically had to have it done twice because when she was home recovering, the damn thing popped out, and she had to go back to the hospital and they had to like open her
Oh
back
my
and
God.
put it back in, put like a new
Oh
one
my
in.
God. Oh
Yeah,
my
so she's
God.
she's a little bit mortified, and especially when they told her that it was like you know, she might be going in tomorrow and coming home tomorrow, and she's like, I don't know how the hell they're gonna do that.
Yeah,
So
really. Well, they must have perfected the duct tape that they were using back then.
yeah,
Made it a little bit better. So it's really going to hold on to those bones and muscle tissue. Yep,
yeah.
good deal.
So hopefully this one goes better than the last one did.
Yeah, I wish her well with that, man.
And then poor Bert, he goes in Tuesday to get his stitches taken out because he went in last week. I think the same day I actually went to the dentist.
Yeah,
I think like Wednesday or something.
what was
Uh,
going on there?
the same thing you had done on your back, basically
Okay.
some skin cancer, but this was
Yeah,
on his
he.
nose.
Oh, okay. Was it a melanoma?
I'm not sure all the details, but I
Right.
know that he looked like when I saw him, I said, "Jesus, what'd you do to piss Dar off this time?"
Oh,
Because
wow.
this is, I mean, he's all black and blue, and he goes in Tuesday to get the stitches taken out, so that shouldn't be too bad.
Right. Right.
And then of course I go on Wednesday, so this week's all medical shit for everybody up
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I guess.
Um,
Yeah, I'll do my best to keep it that way. Just keep it up there. I'll be careful with everything I touch.
yeah, yeah.
Oh
Like I
my
said,
God.
hopefully Dar's surgery goes well, and I know that kind of stuff's pretty routine. It was just kind of a weird fluke thing that And I'll go back and tell you the story because we weren't living here in this house yet. I think we were still living in the apartment,
Uh-huh.
and we just happened to be up here, and maybe we were living here. I can't remember, but that's beside the point. Um,
Hmm.
we were here visiting them, and she was in her recliner chair that they had actually bought specifically for that reason. They needed
Yeah.
a new couch, so they got one that kind of recline. One of the you just push the button and the thing reclines,
Oh, okay.
so she could get comfortable and watch TV while she couldn't walk and move
Yeah.
around.
Right.
But yeah, she did something, and I was standing there when she did it, and she said, "I think this thing just came out,"
Wow.
and we were trying to figure out what the hell to do. And
Good
the
Lord.
only thing we had to call her an ambulance because we couldn't get her out of the house.
Right.
So we
Right.
told them we told them what the situation was. She's just going to need a ride to the hospital, basically.
Yeah.
Um, so don't come down full steam ahead, lights and siren.
Right.
No, not around here.
They got to
Two
put on the.
ambulances, two
Oh,
ambulances, lights and
really?
sirens. Yeah. So now
Were they
all the
chasing each
neighbors are
other?
out wondering what the fuck's going on. You
Yeah.
know. And everybody's standing in their front yard where they're wheeling her out to the ambulance, which I'm sure she was mortified.
Yeah. Wow.
And then, like her next door neighbor came over after the after they went, and
Right.
everybody, my wife went and her dad went, and I stayed behind to feed the dogs,
Right.
and because we didn't know how long they were going to be at the hospital.
Yeah.
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 The next door neighbor, you met him.
Right. Oh, the fellow that.
Yeah, he doesn't see real well anymore.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And
Right.
I told him, I said nothing happened. Her hip popped out, so
Mm-hmm.
you know, send some smoke
Yeah.
signals to the rest of the neighbors or whatever we need to do to get them to go back in the
Yeah.
house. It wasn't a murder or anything over here.
My God, the ambulances, two of them.
And I
Wow.
get if they have to, run their lights and siren when they're going to a call. But why did
Okay.
you? I mean, 2 ambulances, really?
Yeah. Right.
So,
I guess maybe they don't believe in their equipment.
Well, I was
Well,
going to
let's
say,
send two.
they either got to put her on one of those chairs or on a gurney.
Yeah.
Um,
Huh. Yeah,
but
we've been having brake trouble with that one, but I'll send it out anyways.
yeah.
Let's see what we got to do. I'll see how it goes.
So, but that was interesting. So you can see why she was
Yeah.
a little nervous about this, having to go through it again. But hopefully
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks.
she walks better and
Hmm.
doesn't have the pain that she has right now. They actually told her
Oh, yeah.
this one needed to be done like pretty soon because there was actually like a hairline fracture in it, and they said if it breaks, you're
Oh,
going to be hurting.
wow.
So
That's interesting, because it's an awkward gait that she has when she walks.
well, that's because one leg's
And
shorter than the other.
and that's oh, and that's really got to affect her back. I mean, I can imagine her back hurts her a lot
Yeah,
from
she's
that.
actually got one leg that's a little bit longer than the other, and it throws the way she went. And it's probably why her hips went bad.
Gosh, man, oh
Apparently,
man.
this doctor told her that he could fix that. So I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
how they can fix that with a hip
Huh.
surgery, but so
Orthopedic shoes?
no. I mean, I don't know. There was I don't know much about the
Right.
advancement of medical technology, but
Yeah.
said they could do something. So
I just threw that out there. I was going for the low payment. I was going for the cheap way out.
yeah. Well, that's not even cheap.
True. I
Like
imagine
special shoes are freaking ridiculous. Anything they
probably
slap on because it's for like a medical thing. It's
hundreds
like,
of dollars.
well, it's like everything. Well, everything's expensive now, but anything that's photography related or recording related or musical instrument related or
Right.
they just or motorcycle related or boat anything that's
Yeah.
they
It's
just
nuts.
well, this is specialty. This is a marine part. So, but yeah, but
Yeah.
it's just a washer. Yeah, but it's a marine washer.
Right.
Okay, but
Yeah.
what is different about this washer that goes on the boat and this washer that just goes on something else? Well, this one here is a marine washer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that, but what is the difference that makes this washer
Uh-huh.
30 cents and this washer $9?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
looking at them, they look the same. Well, you see, this one here is a marine washer. Oh, okay. Because there's no explanation.
Well,
Actually the guy's just telling the truth because they put
yeah.
marine in front of it and now it's $9 instead of 30 cents.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I can come up with is if where you're putting your boat is nothing but salt water, then yeah, things are going to be a little bit more expensive. Different alloys or what, I mean,
Well,
you don't want rusting parts in a boat.
and I'm not sure why you got back into the campground business down there. I thought you would have been scraping barnacles off the boats down there at the harbor and stuff.
Why not?
Figure that would have been right up your
Hey,
alley.
hey, if it pays good enough, I'll do it.
Get one of
Well,
those.
probably.
Uh, I don't know what they call them. It's not a scuba. It's the one with the brass helmet that goes on and locks
Oh,
on.
oh Lord, no. I couldn't ever do that.
You can't
So
be
you're gonna,
claustrophobic and put something like that on.
oh, no way.
Especially when they bolt the shit on and you can't get it off unless somebody else takes it off.
I would like to do that just so I can come up out of water and flip that little thing open. It's glass and brass and all of
Yeah.
that assembly.
I don't even know what they call those things.
I have no idea. And then you've got an airline. I don't know where's the airline come in. It just what does it do? Just fill in the suit and you
Must
breathe
be.
that?
Yeah, it must be. It's almost like a space suit, but it's
Yeah.
early spacesuit. That's probably where they got the spacesuit idea.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, they probably figure, well, hey, it works in the water. That's you're out in no man's land at that point.
Right. And it's
So
got to be insulated somewhat, you'd think.
sure, interesting.
Um,
I wouldn't get in the water around here because even the alligators will get in the salt water if they're hungry enough and they want something. They'll be in that salt water looking for it.
right.
Yeah, not for long, but I mean, they need the fresh water. But yeah, interesting.
Yeah, you can have the alligators. I don't want anything to do with them.
Oh gosh. And the thing is, they come up so quietly. It's like you gotta be looking.
Well,
You
yeah,
gotta
and
be
they're not
looking
slow either. I
everywhere.
mean,
Right.
I don't know how far they can run at a pretty good speed, but they can run a ways at a pretty good
Oh yeah.
speed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Florida has a little bit more. Uh, they're not as conservative about the gun laws. The gun laws are a little different here, and so what they've come up with recently was anybody can conceal carry.
They did. They just
Well,
did that in South Carolina.
uh-huh. For
You don't even
me,
need a permit.
oh, right, right. Exactly. Exactly.
Open carry in South Carolina now.
Well, in the nature of my business, the only reason I'm going to be packing is because at any given time, there could be an alligator coming up on me in what I do. And so, or wild pig.
Spray warm water on it with a hose. Weren't you the one that told me that worked?
No.
You just got to carry a hose and a tank with you everywhere you go.
And a pressurized tank. Yeah, that's simple enough.
No, but you did tell me about some guy told you that, and I looked it up, and they actually do like it. Now I don't know if they were hungry and they were looking for food. I don't know if that would deter them,
Yeah,
but
that would probably
they like it when they're being sprayed with a hose. I saw videos where they were just chilling out while somebody was spraying them with a hose.
just open their mouth and let you hit them in the brush my teeth.
Well, you just jump on their back and hold their upper jaw.
And then pull out your big Australian crocodile killer knife and
And say,
stab it.
that's not a knife. This is a
Yeah,
knife.
really. This is a knife. But yeah, I mean I mean if a wild pig or alligator's coming up on me, they're going to be eating some lead because my legs don't run anymore.
Yeah.
I hobble away. That's what I do. I mean, I could still work and work okay. I'm fine. It's just that running,
Well, you need to get
no.
one of those, like the saddles for horses. They have the shotgun sleeve
Oh
holster
yeah,
thing that you got to get one of those for the lawn tractor.
excellent,
Strap it on,
excellent
bungee
idea.
cord it on, or something. Just ride around with a rifle on your tractor.
You call me the rifleman. Pull it out. What would the rifleman do? He had some kind of thing where he could throw it out there in front of him, cock it back, and fire it with one arm. I was like, yeah, I was a fan when I was a kid. I'd
Yeah,
never miss that show.
they did a lot of things in the old
Yeah,
western movies and TV shows and stuff
that
that
were that made your jaw drop open when you were 9 years old.
Yeah,
Wow.
because it never really happened.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like the shootout. The shootout isn't even a thing, really.
Right. Right.
Not the like the high noon 10 paces kind of
Yeah.
thing. I
Right.
that came like the movies invented that. I mean,
Yeah. It was
not that
probably
it
spur of the moment.
like a duel probably happened occasionally, but
Yeah.
you watch any old West movie or shit, they've made old West movies just about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I mean, I know some towns were probably pretty crazy, but at some point, a few stray bullets are going to scare some people and go, no,
Well,
we
it's
got
like
to
the
get a
old Wyatt
sheriff.
Earp story. Well, the movie Tombstone, where he's down there by the creek and he's just walking, shooting down people, and everybody's shooting at him, and they're all missing and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they said that was more realistic than because he had nerves of steel, and
Uh
he would set himself and take the shot,
huh.
whereas everybody else is running around just shooting at towards the person, and it's like, yeah, they're not. You kind of got to slow down and take aim
Yeah.
to actually
Yeah.
hit them.
Really.
Um,
Exactly.
Now I
Yeah.
don't know if that scene from the movie actually happened. There's a story about that. I don't know if it's actually really happened, but
Uh huh.
they said that he actually had like a bullet hole in his coat that he was wearing. That's how
Oh yeah.
close somebody got to hitting him.
Sure. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, um, I think that these guys would actually take the time to hunt each other down. They'd hear about where somebody was, and if they got a vengeance thing going on, they'll just hunt them down with like two other people and just blast them away.
Right, right.
I think that was a big time thing that happened.
Oh, that's how Billy the Kid got gunned down. He got basically attacked in the middle of the night, you know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and shot down by somebody he thought was a friend.
Right. Right.
But that
Or
whole Wyatt
guys
Earp
that.
story was, I think, in the movie. I think Doc Holliday says something like that. And now he walks on water.
Right.
Because he
Yeah.
was walking across the creek, just shooting shooting these people down, and everybody's like, "You see that?" And old Doc Holliday says, "Yeah, now Wyatt walks on water."
Uh-huh.
Just the dry,
Yeah.
like the
Exactly.
legend just keeps building.
Right. Right. Yeah. All those guys that made claims out there, and then people stealing from their claims and stuff. Because God, I don't know, what was it back then? I mean, if you were to buy a meal, it might cost you 2 cents, 3 cents,
Bits.
and or bits or whatever. And,
I don't
and
know how
these,
much a bit is,
I don't
but
either, but
in
it
those
sounds
movies, it's
good.
always like you get a
It's
shot of
two
whiskey,
bits.
it's 2 bits.
Yeah.
Like, what is 2 bits?
But my God, these some of these claims were paying 200,000, 300,000. If you had a $1 million claim, you might as well be a billionaire.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, so just
yeah. But as soon as
outrageous.
somebody else found out about it, then they wanted to go gun you down and take over your claim.
Exactly. Exactly. And you couldn't be covering your all your claims all the time. But if
No.
somebody blew in somebody else and said, "Hey, I saw this guy over at your claim, and he'd been there for a couple days, pulling silver out." So yeah, it was all big time silver back then
Yeah,
in those areas like Tombstone area and that.
yeah. Silver mines in Tombstone.
Sure.
I
Yeah,
think
a
the
crazy time.
like Deadwood and stuff. I think was gold, but I think
Yeah.
Tombstone was silver.
Yeah. Yeah, just whatever nature threw at it. I know that where my sister goes in Wyoming, it's all about gold.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's kind of interesting. My sister's in her 70s, and she and David go and pan for gold in bear country. I'm
yeah.
like, oh, I'm like, okay, I guess I'm leading a mild life. All I'm doing is taking care of the grounds here and, worrying about a stray alligator now or then.
Right.
It's like, damn, they're in freaking bear country. If you don't have the right caliber, you really have a pea shooter. I
Yeah.
mean, you have to have a knockdown caliber,
I think
44
bear attacks
Magnum.
are less common than people think, but
Right,
when you're
right.
really in trouble is if it's a mother bear with some cubs.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Then
right.
you're screwed.
Yeah, you have a better bet have big caliber gun, and because that's what it's going to take. 357 Magnum with special rounds, just something that, yeah, because that's a big, fast, tough animal.
Yeah.
It ain't no playing.
No. No. Not with
So,
bears.
but that's like I said, for me, because of the easier to deal with gun laws in Florida, I need that. I mean, like I said, I'm so slow moving. If I got something coming at me, I got to stand my ground because there ain't no running away from it. And we got a lot of wild hogs around here. We got a lot of them, and they're coming in because I'm seeing, places in the campground where they're digging up at night.
Yeah.
So they're in here.
Yeah, they're mean.
Oh yeah, yeah, and to knock one of them down again, it's got to take a big caliber
Yeah, and you
because then,
better hit them square because otherwise you just piss them off.
right, right. But yeah, I'll tell you what. I mean, the last thing I want to have to do is do that because within, I mean, we're living kind of rural here, but we still have sheriffs, and within 15 to 20-minute span, there's going to be a sheriff on the property because people are going to be calling it in. I heard gunfire. Well, yeah, and I'll be the first to go. Yeah, it was me. There's the dead whatever, and I didn't have a choice. So and then it's a come what may. I don't know if I'll get in trouble, what'll happen, but I'd rather get in trouble than to have this thing tear into me
Right.
because it's just not going to happen if I can help it.
You just run up to them and say, "You see the size of that chicken?"
that was that chicken was badass.
That's from Young Guns.
Oh, no kidding. I never saw that
Yeah, they all do
chicken.
peyote or whatever you call
Oh
it,
yeah.
and
Oh
they're all having their own little trips out in the woods. And the one guy's in a cave. He starts shooting off his guns and shit, and he comes running out of the cave. You see the size of that chicken?
yeah. It
So
was a wall painting.
he was having a peyote trip about giant
Yeah.
chickens, apparently.
Oh my God.
So
Talk about your good times.
yeah,
My
yeah.
God.
So you went to, what do they call it, the Turkey Rod Run yesterday over in Daytona?
Yeah, it's done twice a year now, and it probably has been for a while. Originally, when I went many years ago, we were still working in NASCAR. We were in it was right around Thanksgiving time, and that was the only one version of it I can remember. Actually, it does cover that Thanksgiving time. Thanksgiving Day is part of it, but
Yeah,
the
that's why
the,
they
the
call it the
speed
Turkey Rod Run.
yeah, the speedway in Daytona just filled with vendors.
Is it an
Yeah,
actual car show or a swap meet?
it's
Or
everything.
both?
It's both. It's just everything. It's like it's supposed to be for people that have stuff for sale, but I think some of the cars that they bring is just for to just kind of show off. or let people know I'm a builder.
Yeah.
They're gonna have some things on in their space that they're renting. Those are gonna be the cars that are for sale, but I think some of the other stuff are probably like more recent projects, and they're just showcasing what they've done recently because they kind of they kind of build up a a base of customers,
Yeah.
and their names get around. So these are guys that get searched out by people, and so prices are wacky. They're all over the board, but I saw some interesting cars. uh, some really wacky, crazy, customized cars. They're just kind of fun to see, and you look at something like that, and you're like, who the hell would want to go down the street in this thing?
Yeah.
Like there was this long old, I don't know, 1948 Buick. It had been slammed to the ground. I don't think it. I don't think the chassis was more than 4 inches up off the ground at the most, and the base of it was painted like this really wild purple, customized purple paint, and there was like a bright orange yellow on the top. Part of the hood was that. It's just neat what you see.
Yeah.
And but I went with my brother-in-law and a friend, and we just uh, we just walked all over that infield. Daytona's a big ass place.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. There's a small lake there, isn't there? Or pond.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, we didn't. It's just huge, and so it was fun. We didn't buy anything, just ate, walked around, had ice cream, walked around some more.
Yeah.
Uh, I think uh, I think Kerry was thinking he might buy something, but he never pulled the trigger on it. But he had a check in his pocket that he was ready to buy if he saw the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of fun. I tagged along on it because I hadn't been there in so long. I hadn't done anything like that in a while, and I just thought, well, this will be kind of cool.
Yeah. How far over to Daytona is it from there?
I think we were. I think it was like 2.5 hour ride,
Yeah.
and I mean, there's roads here. I mean, right down the street from where I'm sitting. There's I guess call it Highway 40, and they're just numbered, and these numbered roads they go across the state.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the great thing about a flat state like Florida. You can do that, and so it's interesting. And on the way over, you run through some wild federal land,
Yeah.
and then there's like wild state land, and you see, beware of the deer, beware of the bear, and and there's just all kinds of animals in that. I mean, Florida is definitely a jungle, that's for sure.
Well, yeah. Parts of it, anyways.
Oh yeah, it truly is.
Yeah, that's
I
what
mean,
Texas felt like where we were at in Texas. I mean, it
yeah,
literally felt like we were living in like jungle.
like
Didn't
the
look like jungle necessarily, but it felt. I mean, the heat and humidity and
hmm
some of the
right.
growth just gave you that jungle vibe.
Yeah, and when you get in swampy areas, you really get that. You really get the vibe
Yeah,
because there's all kinds of big snakes in there, especially down Everglades now. Crocodile, of all things. It was always alligators. There's crocodile in there now.
they were talking about something on the news yesterday morning, and I was only half paying attention, but it was some sort of project they're doing in Florida to restore. There's some lake.
Maybe Lake Okeechobee.
Yeah, something like that. And
Right.
yeah, it's like a $80 billion project,
It must
but
be the Army Corps of Engineers, I would imagine.
I'm not really sure. But it's because the ecosystem or something's breaking down, and I mean it's
It,
this
it,
project's gonna like take till like 2035, so it's
yeah. I think what happened was back in the 50s, probably the later 1950s, they were planning on putting a barge canal all the way across the state. It's like let's skip Panama. We're going to have to put in some bridges as we go across the state, but let's get this opened up. Let's open up a channel that is wide enough to get these container ships in, and they can make it from out into the Gulf and so on.
yeah,
They were looking to do that instead of relying on everything going through Panama. They figured, you know, just helpful to the United States. Let's do it. Problem is when you cut up an ecosystem, you create things downstream that you hadn't planned on,
right.
and a lot of waterways. I mean, a tremendous amount of waterways in Florida were pristine. You could see right to the bottom.
Well, it's I mean it's like you know I see these. I've watched documentaries and stuff like that about like Arizona and California and places like that. That they're not the water situation. It's like you shouldn't even have the fucking water you have because you've
Exactly.
robbed the water from the places where the water was. So now their farms have suffered and closed, and
Yeah.
so you can grow oranges in California.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um,
Exactly. It's just it's money. It's money talked back then. It's like let's throw this money at it, and of course all the wealth in California, which far outgrew the wealth in Arizona, let's say, or wherever. It's like they were willing to throw money at it because they know the return was going to be huge.
right.
So that's what they did. You know, they were going to make sure things happened.
But you put in like the Hoover Dam and stuff like that, and you pipe all this water into places where it technically should be desert. You shouldn't be growing oranges,
Exactly.
and then you're
Yeah.
robbing these farmers in the Midwest
Hmm.
of their water, and now their
Yeah.
farms are closing, and you know,
And and while they're doing everything with this water, they're not putting in the infrastructure to all the small towns to let's make sure that if you're rerouting water, if you're doing different things, you know basically all these towns back in the 50s, they were all running on septic systems.
yeah,
They're the cities, yeah, had sewer, but that was the cities. Everybody else septic. It's getting in the water table, getting in the water table. It's eventually making its way. Uh, Around here, where I am, what really screws things up is when you have hurricanes and it brings in a ton of salt water. And you talk about laying bare an ecosystem. Oh shit. It takes a long time for that to get built back.
yeah.
And then maybe it's 10 years. Here comes another big ass storm. All that salt water is going to come rolling in. Nothing's going to stop it. And wow, it'll wipe out a huge area.
Well,
Nothing. It can't live on salt.
right.
The salt's gonna kill it.
Well, a
So
lot of times that's what forest fires are. It's nature's way of regenerating because You look at
Hmm.
a place that, you know, had huge wildfires, and 5, 6, 7 years down the road, I mean, it's so lush and green, and you
Hmm.
know, because it's the planet's way of, unless somebody started it on purpose, but or even by accident,
Yeah, yeah, bonfire or something that got out of control, and
But I mean,
but
that's the whole global warming. Yes, global warming is happening, and I don't want to get into a huge conversation about global warming, but
right.
we have definitely expedited the process.
Hmm.
But I mean, and I don't know by how many thousands of years or whatever, but this planet is it was never going to stay the same. It's gone through cycles, and
Oh God,
it's
yes.
bound to happen again. I mean, all it took is super volcano to basically create the ice age, and that can happen again.
Yeah, and then when that ice age started to go away, everything was underwater.
Well, that's what
And
everybody says. All the polar ice caps are all melting and stuff, and it's like, yeah, that's the
yeah,
whether we were here or not, that was going to happen. Now, it probably
oh
wouldn't
sure,
happen for maybe another million years or 100,000
right,
years or something, but it was
sure.
going to happen.
And that's so easy to figure out. Just look at the 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 off the coast of North Carolina. Um, what do they call that area? Jeez, my brain's the
The Outer Banks,
the Outer Banks. I was going to say, what are the banks called? I couldn't come up with outer. But there's geologists. I watched the show on it. There's a guy. It's like the lead geologist for something in North Carolina, and I don't retain who's who and what's what the
right?
titles mean, but he said he said the Earth warms up, the Earth cools down. He said I do core samples. He said I can tell you what was happening here on the Outer Banks millions and millions and millions of years
Right,
ago.
right,
And he said there's times when the Earth heats up, greater flow of water now coming from the south hemisphere, the northern hemisphere, way up at the top, way down at the bottom. The oceans are rising. It's going to happen. And he said, I can tell on my core samples what was alive, what was living at these different times in history. What was the vegetation? I can tell you that. And he said it's very simple to read. He says you just have to have a good understanding of what it took for that vegetation to live as compared to, millions of years later, what was showing up.
yeah.
And of course, from a schooled person like that, you get the real story. For me, you just get little bits and pieces of nothing. I don't know,
Well, yeah,
but
and
I do know what the guy said.
and
He said,
and you know, I get it. I mean, we're just humans are just destructive, and they just you know
right, we think we can control things.
well, yeah, fracking and just destroying, shit for precious metal or gas
Right,
or what, and it's like eventually you're going to
right.
tap the planet out. But I mean, this planet was never going to be habitable forever. I mean, the freaking
Yeah,
moon's getting like farther and farther away.
yeah. It has like a consistent, somewhat
Yeah, I can't
consistent
remember. I don't want
distance. It
to.
goes
I hate
every
to say
year.
3 inches, but it might be like 3 inches. That for some reason 3 inches sticks out in my mind, but it might not be
Yeah,
that much.
over a million years. It's going to be
Well, yeah, and
get
and that controls the tides and stuff.
right, right. So yeah, at some point this will be a dormant planet.
Yeah, I mean, I
Now,
mean, I don't know. I don't know what'll happen if the moon, in 1,000 years when the moon's 15 more feet away. I mean, they'll still be
right.
controlling the tides, but is it going to be less of a tide or more of a tide? Or I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know how all that's going to work, but I
I think
mean,
while humans are here, we're just the wild ass frat party that's going on
Pretty much,
Weird.
yeah. Well,
And
that's
then
the thing. You
when we
always
clear out,
you get into
it's
the got to go green, like the whole electric car thing, and buying biodegradable this and this and that and this and that, and it's like, well, number one, it's so stupid expensive, but like me spending an extra $40 a week on laundry detergent and soap, and it doesn't do a damn thing. Like
right.
like it would have to be everybody doing it
Oh yeah, 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 absolutely. You can try to play your little part
to
and
feel
feel
better about
good about it.
yourself.
Yeah, yep. It's just and like you say, one one freaking volcano can just like spew its guts out. This thing hasn't opened up in 6,000 years, but it's covering the sky with shit.
Well, yeah, if the one in Yellowstone ever goes, we're all screwed in this
Yeah,
country.
yeah, basically. Yeah, yeah, basically. So you want to talk about some serious ass pollution? That will be big.
Oh yeah, they said we'd get ash all the way here,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That'll be a real killer. That's for sure.
but you know, it's just stupid little things like recyclable plastic. People think because it's plastic, it's recyclable. It's not all. Actually, very little is.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the thing. The plastic bags at the grocery stores. Well, they're getting rid of the plastic bags. I think California already has.
hmm
Uh, but yet everything they sell comes in a plastic fucking container.
exactly.
So it's
Yeah.
like, do the bags really make that much more of a difference?
I mean, we can't go to the manufacturers. They're so spread out. I mean, I was sitting here eating Snyder's twisted pretzels. And it's like, okay, well, they got to rely on the chain network of grocery stores. I can't go to them
Right.
wherever their plant is. Maybe I could tell you where this plant. Oh, Berlin, Pennsylvania. I could go up there.
Well, all pretzels are made in Pennsylvania, I think.
It'd be like, okay, gotta go. I'm going to get some pretzels. I'll be back in a week.
Yeah, basically. But I mean, like, there's certain plastics that are recyclable. So why aren't we using more of that plastic for food containers so it can all be recycled? Like those clamshell, like the store bought donuts and pastries and stuff that come in those clamshell containers. None of that plastic's
Yeah,
recyclable.
right,
So why are
right.
we not making it in recyclable containers? Why are we
Yeah,
using the shit that's not?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I don't understand.
For some of the reason, that formula is acceptable, even though it doesn't.
Well, bottom line is it's money. It's cheaper to use
Yeah,
that plastic,
right, right.
and
You know what's
these big
funny?
corporations
hmm
lobby Washington, and they're all scratching each other's backs. Yeah, we won't you know get rid of this we won't make you start using the other plastic as long as you do this.
Right. Yeah, exactly. As long as you're, lining our pockets.
Right, right.
Um, there was a time when cars were just coming into uh, the planet. So there were developing cars. We figured out how to do it. And the electric car, probably for a short time, but there was a time when it was the most makes sense, popular deal there was. And this is back in the infancy of it. Some people were looking at different ways to put power to the ground, and electric, batteries was one way to do it. And so I'd have to look it up, see who the manufacturers were, but I know it happened. I watch a lot of shows about cars, and this goes back years, but they had made the statement that at one point the electric car was looking like the one that was going to be leading the pack,
Well, they're still pushing it,
and
but it's just
yeah,
not as green as people think it is. I mean,
right,
I've
right,
seen charging stations for electric cars that are running off fucking diesel generators.
sure,
Now, if that doesn't
yeah,
make I mean, are you serious? So
You
you
had
think
to,
you're all green, and then how are all the? I mean, we've talked about this before. I mean, all
yeah,
the parts on the car, how are they manufactured? If you truly want a green car, it doesn't exist.
no, no.
And then disposing of those batteries, you know,
It would have to be made out of wood, and I don't know what else. You know,
right? Well, and
Uh,
think about this: California is saying that they're gonna, like I can't remember if it's in the next few years. Supposedly, they're gonna stop selling gas powered vehicles in the state of California.
well, as
So,
long
okay,
as,
when they already have their own electric grid problems, can you imagine
yeah,
everybody in California that owned a car had an electric car and they all had to charge them?
yeah.
They'd be
What
out of power constantly.
problem with California is they're chasing so many people out. I don't know how many laws they've put in place where people go, I can't afford this. There's no way I can continue to live here.
Right, but the worst part of that is that they go find this neat little town somewhere in North Dakota or Wyoming or something like that and
And
move
they,
there, and then they want to turn it into California.
yeah, they want to take those values that they had in California and
Eh,
take them to where they don't work.
Right. Well, that's the mentality of everybody nowadays.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we're smarter than you, but that state's been fine, and but yet you're going to come in and go, oh, you people, you're so far out of your league, people. Step aside. We'll run your state now.
Yeah, we know how to do it.
We know what you need. Yeah, and then they'll
Mhm.
all be leaving there because they're just going to come in and mess it up.
Right. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah. But I just thought that was interesting that if the electric car had taken off then and continued on, um, we'd all be driving electric cars, and there would be a grid system across the country. All of that would have got worked out over time. Maybe the ability to put the grid system in place would have been way outpaced by the manufacturer of electric cars.
yeah.
Probably that was what would have happened.
Yeah. I mean, there's no telling.
Yeah, yeah,
Or the planet would just be completely dormant at this point in time because of all the
yeah.
old batteries that don't work anymore.
Just think
You
of
know.
the pollution all those old batteries would create,
Yeah,
just
that's what I'm saying.
stockpiled
If
somewhere.
we'd been doing it since the 50s, I mean, probably half the planet would be a dump site for
Oh
toxic
yeah,
waste, which it
sure.
probably
Yeah.
pretty much is already, anyways. But
Well, it just goes to show there are no great ideas. I mean, there's
well,
good
in theory
ideas.
there are, but you got to think it all the way through and iron all the wrinkles out before you actually put it into practice.
Yeah, 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 certainly.
Some people, they get brainwashed by this, and it's like, oh, you're still driving a gas powered car.
Right.
Well, for a couple reasons. Number one, your fucking go kart um, isn't as green as you think it is,
Yeah.
and I don't have 50 or 60 grand to spend on a piece of shit Tesla.
So again, great idea. Just as long as you're a millionaire. As long as you're a millionaire, it's a great idea.
Right.
All the rest of us chumps, I guess we're sticking our thumb out and hoping one of these Teslas picks me up.
Yeah, I mean, what are people going to do when they tell them they can't buy a gas powered car anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, you can barely afford those, let alone, the electric vehicles. And a lot of people live places where there's not, a whole lot of access to like charging places, but
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. That's a
Infrastructure is everything. When it comes to large populations, you got to have it.
that's an
So,
endless conversation.
yeah. But I really commend the great job of chasing people out of a state that California's done. Because, wow, they know how to do it.
Oh yeah.
I,
Well,
I,
New York State knows how to do it too.
oh my gosh, yes. But what's really cool, what happened in Florida just the other day, what the governor pushed through, you you're going to take over someone's home. They're not there. They've gone. Something's happened in their lives where they're going to be away from their home for a long time, and they come back and they're squatters. Mm-mm. No, no, no. Squatters. You go in and take over a house, we're going to come and kick you out.
Yeah.
No more squatters. You're out as soon as that owner shows up and makes it public that there's been squatters in their house. They're gone that day.
Well, they should be gone to jail. Is where they should be gone. I mean, it's
Exactly. Exactly. And I thought, thank God, because I think New York State's just about made it legal for the squatters to take
yeah,
over. It's
it's,
like,
it's asinine. It's friggin' asinine.
yeah, everything that people go through, all the heartache and hard work and this and that, the love of doing it, and somebody's gonna be a squatter in their house and you can't kick them out.
Oh, I'd get them out.
Where is
If
the
I had to take
common
them out in
sense?
pieces, I'd get them out.
Exactly. Where is the common sense? It's such a common sense thing. I've got people took over my house. They have no right to be there, but yet the law is going to back them.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
I've
It
got to
makes
get a
no
lawyer
sense.
and pay thousands of dollars.
Well, you know what
And
you do. You know how to fix that real quick. Is keep an eye on these politicians that are they're supporting these laws. Wait till they
Mhm.
go on vacation and go fucking move into their house.
Yeah,
See what
really. I
they think
mean,
when they get back from their 18th vacation of the year, paid
you've got
vacation.
it's got to land in their lap. It's got to affect them.
Well, that's the problem. None of
And
this shit.
then,
It
w- w-
doesn't. None of it lands in their lap because they don't have to worry about health care. They don't have to worry about money because it's like I said. I mean, I don't want to
wouldn't you
go
like
down
to
this
be?
rabbit hole because we need to
Yeah.
start winding this thing down a little bit. But
Wouldn't you just love to be like a little mouse in the corner that can hear what's going on and
well,
what they're talking about? I think my mouth would be open. I'd be like, what?
Kyle's way more political than I am. Um, she's helped with some local campaigns and stuff like that. She's just more into politics than I am. It pisses me
Right,
off, so I can't be into politics because
right, right.
But I continually say the only way things are going to change is when we fix our government.
Sure,
You know,
absolutely,
and I
absolutely.
don't see that happening anytime soon. It doesn't matter whether Joe Biden or Donald Trump is our next president. It doesn't fucking matter because for a lot of things it doesn't matter because it's still our government at work. And
When money stops talking, that's when the sun is finally starting to come up over the horizon.
right.
It's going to be a new day. You know, money talks and bullshit walks. That's got to end. Money's got to stop talking.
Yeah. You have to end
Common
lobbyism
sense.
and
Oh
get
my
rid of all
God.
that. But
Because whatever and whoever you're affecting, how would you like it to happen to you or someone in your family? Okay, if you're the politician and this is what your work is doing, making sure that people can't get back into their homes or whatever the problem is, let it happen to you. Then now you're going to go, oh, wait a minute, no, you this isn't right. Well, of course it's not right.
I mean,
But
what happened to
you
breaking and entering? It doesn't matter whether I'm
exactly,
home or not. You break into my
exactly.
house, isn't that breaking and entering?
Uh-huh.
Like I said, you know,
And
somebody needs to stake out these politicians, and when they go on their vacation, break into their house, move in, and what are they going to do when they get back?
hmm
There's nothing they
yeah,
can do because you have more rights than they do.
right.
But
Yeah.
I wanted to let everybody know. I wanted to wait till the end of the podcast to uh, talk about it, but this is the final episode of Moist Nougat.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking hard about it for a month, but 3-year run, so not bad. 135 episodes.
Uh-huh. Very good, Ron.
You know, but with you moving to Florida and Kyle and I trying to buy a house, if this deal goes through, I'm gonna be busy moving and having
Right,
work
right.
done and doing all that and I just feel like it's kind of ran its course and it was fun and I'm
Yeah,
not done doing a podcast. I mean, but once I get settled in to
right.
the new landing spot,
Yeah,
hopefully, this
yeah.
spring, early summer or whatever, I
Mm-hmm.
can start rethinking, getting back into it. But for
Yeah,
right now,
count
I
me
just
in.
feel like I need to take some time off and focus on some other things and
Yeah,
you know,
it's a reset. Not so much a reset, but it's a pause. And definitely count me in because I enjoy it.
yeah, it's definitely fun and you know, but the Podbean subscription is up at the end of the month, and you know, I don't want to pay more money. Trying to save every nickel we can right now with this house deal,
Right.
and
Sure.
like I said, if I paid for it, then I'd feel like I should be doing it, and the
Yeah.
downside of it is when I cancel Podbean, all our back episodes are going to go away.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
The ones that I posted on YouTube will still be there, but and I have copies of all the episodes. They just won't be
Uh-huh.
out there for anybody to listen to, except the ones
Yeah.
that were on YouTube or whatever. But it is what it is.
Uh-huh.
I mean, 3 years is a pretty good run,
Yeah, definitely.
and you know,
Definitely. Yeah, we had some fun times with it.
oh yeah, absolutely. And I'll be antsy without doing it, but uh, like I said, it's nothing to start doing it again when I'm settled in.
Yeah, because
And
you'll be all in on that. And that's you at your best. When you're all in on something, things get done.
yeah, well, and I've been trying to do a bunch of episodes by myself, and it's just kind of flat for me.
Hmm.
Recording it is flat. Listening back to it is kind of flat. And doing the phone in thing is cool and everything. Like that's something that we'll work on, maybe getting it set up or doing the Skype thing and or something or whatever. But this one, I just feel like it's had its run and it's time to put this one to sleep and
Uh-huh.
take a breather and see what
Absolutely.
happens next. But
Yep.
that's why I
It's
wanted to
just
have you on for
yeah, I
since we started
appreciate
the
that.
thing and I felt like I needed to have you on so we could finish it together.
Yes, indeed. And the creative juices will be flowing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that's the whole house thing. Is I'm because my wife's looking at you know and I things that because there's some things we want to do when we get in there and to make it our own.
Sure.
But I'm like, I can't get there yet because it's not a done deal. I said, I really want to get there so I can
Yeah.
start, thinking about the fun stuff.
Uh-huh.
But,
Exactly.
I don't want to get all this crazy stuff in my head and then, something happens and it doesn't work out. And, you know,
Hmm.
so
Right.
I'm waiting until the thing's like a finalized deal. And my camera went dead. So this whole video is not, the damn battery went dead. So, uh, it's going to be audio only for the last couple minutes, but I guess that was a good sign to say thanks to everybody for listening, the ones that did, and watching the video.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I'll have to do a short little video of just me at the end just to explain what the fuck happened. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, anyways, thanks for being on. Thanks for doing the podcast with me.
Oh, my pleasure.
And I think we're going to call this one an episode.
All right.
So thanks for listening. I am the kid,
And I'm Dana Lee.
and we'll catch you down the road.